Author, photographer Helen Pepe admits her childhood had unusual encounters, self-admitting she the odd one out in the chaotic family. Unable to feel a sense of belonging in her tumultuous household, she formed strong relationships with the family's animals. She shared her life's memories in the book Pigs Can't Swim. So we talk about it. Helen, good day to you.
Hi.
Good, you're here. Helen Pepe, P-E-P-P-E, Pigs Can't Swim, a memoir. And, of course, the life you live now looks pretty great. Of course, writing and photographing, living near Portland, Maine with your kids. And I like the 4 dogs, 8 rescued rabbits, and more. And those destructive kittens, they have personalities too, don't they?
Yes.
There you are. Helen, you do take us back to that rural farm in rural Maine when you did recognize you didn't fit in. You curled up with a book. You made friends with the animals. What are your earliest memories, in as you mentioned in your memoir?
Well, the earliest ones are riding a stallion. They have to really do with animals beyond, the puppy biting me when I was really little and worried that, I didn't handle the interaction right. I wanted to do better with the puppy, but I wasn't allowed, and the puppy was put down. That's one of the earliest ones. And then we had, my brother had a stallion that he purchased, a racehorse that didn't make it on the track. And it was a stallion, and we knew nothing about horses. He knew nothing about horses, and he was a teenager, and he knew nothing about riding. And he took this horse, and he would put me up on its back and bring me down our half-mile dead-end road, which was dirt, to the end of it, just a halter, no lead line, nothing like that. And I would sit on his back, barefoot, bareheaded, usually in shorts, and he would tell me just to hug the stallion's neck, and would get to the end of the road, and he'd tell the stallion to go home and slap his butt. And I would hug his neck, and we would fly that half-mile back to my house. And my brother would have put grain in the barn so that he would, ensure the stallion would go home. But of course the stallion would have anyway, because that was his home. And he would careen across the yard and into the barn, which was very low ceilinged, and into his stall, which was also very low, and eat his grain. And then my brother would return about 10 minutes later and take me off. And we would do that a lot. It was very dangerous, but I loved it. I loved this stallion. He bit everybody. He bit my sister, shaking her by her shoulder. He kicked people. Eventually, he was gelded. That didn't do him, any favors at all. He wasn't any, easier to deal with. But he never bit me, and I loved just going out near him and sitting beside him in the hay and watching him eat. And he was in this small area of the barn, and it was just different. I didn't expect anything of him, and he didn't expect anything of me, so there was never any real danger. And that's pretty much the way it was with all of the animals that were there.
Yes. And yet, in general, it looks like you describe your childhood as at least 16 years of family conflict. Are these examples?
Well, because I was really the only one who didn't expect anything from animals. They wanted to eat them. So of course, they didn't want to eat the horse, but, the goats and the rabbits and the sheep and the cows, they raised the cows for meat and the pigs for meat. And I would sit in the pig pen when the pigs were babies and, again, barefoot and in shorts. So you're sitting in, everything the pigs do. And, I loved them. And it took time for me to realize that those animals that disappeared were the ones that were on our dinner table. And once I figured it out with the chickens, because we would have like a chicken harvest in the spring and the fall, we would, be killing all these chickens, I realized that I just couldn't be part of it. It was awful. And there's a boundary in people's heads, and it certainly is in my mother's, where even though she loved these animals, she didn't want people to talk about who the animal was when it was on the table. So if my brothers did that or my sisters, she would get very angry because she had divided in her head the animal that she had raised and the animal that was on her dinner plate. And she did not want anybody to cross that boundary.
Your
because
book,
it was very upsetting for
sure.
her. But I didn't have that boundary, and I never have had that boundary. So once I realized, all the cows, all the chickens, they were things that I knew, and I think it's just something you're born with, maybe a sensibility, more empathy, but it's painful to think of eating those animals. So, and it's hard to explain beyond that some people are able to have that divider. I know my daughter has that divider, and she's 11, and she talks about not being able to see that the animal on her plate is a cow that she might have seen grazing. But I can't tell myself that and allow myself to still eat the meat.
The memoir that you write, Pigs Can't Swim, were pigs part of your life?
They were. The title comes from this pig that my parents saw running along the road, and they got out of the car and captured him with my brothers and brought him to a camp that was on a lake. And so we rode this pig across the lake to the camp, and my brother put him in a barrel, and after we eat lunch, he escapes. And they're all saying that pigs can't swim, and they're shouting, he can't swim, he's going to kill himself. And we were watching the pig swim. And when I was little, it was so frustrating for me to see the truth, the evidence of what disagreed with their convictions, but yet they still believed it. So I was very annoying because I took everything literally. And, I understood that there was this myth that if pigs swam, they would slit their throats with their hooves. And that's what my brother and father and mother believed, and, my other siblings. And it's not until you get older that you realize that the convictions that they had that I fought was part of who they were. So, of course, they were going to defend them. And it was very frustrating for them to have me there always arguing and saying they were wrong, as it would be for any adult, because it threatens who they are, and it makes them feel like I'm trying to be better than they are, maybe. And so that's when my mother would say I was too big for my britches or Miss Smarty Pants, and I didn't know what I was talking about.
Is this part of the theme of the takeaway message from Pigs Can't Swim?
Absolutely, all the way through. It's them telling me things that don't make any sense to what I see. And, of course, I love my family very much, and they did their very best to make me understand. And, back then there wasn't Google. There wasn't an easy way to get answers and information. So I was always asking questions as well that was outside of what they knew. And that must have been very frustrating for them. So it wasn't until I had my own children and my daughter, who never stops asking questions, that I realized how horrible it must have been for my family to have me there way out in the country without any way to answer my questions, always nagging. Why this? Why that? I wanted to understand. And of course, when they gave me their answers, I said they were wrong because of what I saw. I didn't agree with what they were saying.
Yeah.
So.
Pigs Can't Swim, a memoir. How do we find out more information, Helen, about you, your work, and your photography as well?
Well, I have a photography page on Facebook under Helen Pepe Photography. I also have a website, helenpepe.com, and pigscan'tswim.com. And I'm happy to talk to anybody. Email me. Just last night, a woman emailed me because she has been a vegetarian for a while and finds it frustrating when people say they love animals, yet they eat animals. And she's a horse person, so that's very hard for her because she has to go through that every day talking with people because she's in business with horses.
Yeah.
So, and it can be hard. So people look for connections. But certainly the book isn't all about how I became a vegetarian. It's about much more than that, dealing with not just Maine, it's something that's widespread, trying just to survive when you see things differently than other people do. And, it goes well beyond the food issues, although that begins the book. And it is hard for some people to read the beginning because of the animal scenes that I bring up. And
you're writing your memoir. That's bottom line. Helen Pepe, Peppe, Pigs Can't Swim. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.